looking at a visualization of data from the National Journal on number of gun-related deaths relative to gun laws in those states. There's a lot of data here, and a lot of telling data. As you can see from our legend, we've got a red sphere that is sized and colored to indicate the number of deaths per 100,000 population. Big in red is more, small in white is less. And we've also used the z-axis in this visualization to represent the number of deaths. So those states with the fewest number of deaths are at the lower part of the visualization. Those with the highest number of deaths are higher in the z-axis. And then, based on the data that the National Journal put out, we visualized whether the difficulty or ease of purchasing and registering a firearm in that state, the ease or difficulty of obtaining a carry permit, data on whether there's a stand your ground law in place, and then the waiting period for handguns as well is indicated by the length and color of this bar. With this understanding of the legend, the patterns do begin to quickly emerge. We see that a number of the states with higher gun deaths per 100,000 all have this blue cone, which indicates there is a stand your ground gun law in place. So as I zoom in on one particular glyph here, we can see a variety of data about what's happening here. So in this state of Montana, there were 16.7 gun deaths per 100,000 population. And we can see that in Montana, there is a stand your ground law. There's no permit required to purchase. There's no universal background check in place. And there's no handgun registration reporting required. And then lastly, as indicated by the National Journal, its relative difficulty to obtain a concealed carry permit is moderate, and for an open carry permit, there's no permit required. In Hawaii, there is no stand your ground gun law. A permit is required to purchase. A universal background check is in place, and there is reporting and registration required. Additionally, it's very difficult to obtain a concealed carry permit as well as an open carry permit. By viewing the data in this manner, we can start to see patterns and trends emerge through the different colors of the objects on the glyph. As we look here, in these states where there are a higher number of deaths, where we see a larger and red sphere, we see that the aspects of purchase and registration are all generally blue. What that implies is it's easier or less strict or lax regulations relative to getting a permit to purchase the gun, conducting a background check, or requiring handgun registration upon ownership. As we look down at states that have fewer deaths, we see here that they have requirements to gain a permit to purchase. We also see that there is a background check required on sales. In this particular case, there is no handgun registration reporting requirement, and this is in the state of Illinois. If I were interested in only seeing those states where there is a universal background check on sales, I can remove all of the other data. And what's interesting here is I can see that most of those cases where there are a universal background check on sales, but for sales, are in the lower half of the states of number of deaths. Oftentimes, making sense of complex data can be difficult because it can be difficult to see all the data. As you can see here, here's a table of 50 states plus the District of Columbia and a number of aspects relative to gun laws in each of those states. It's difficult to really see the text and understand what's going on there. If we zoom in, we can see more about a particular state, but it becomes difficult to see all of the data together. Visualizing data with SynGlyphX enables you to interact with the data and see all of it in one setting and start to begin to make more sense of what the data is telling you.